Malcolm, and also so here we go. Hope this well with everybody. So,
Malcolm, we're going to have to charge you for this recording because the rabbi doesn't. He's all right if you attend it, but recording he has to charge. Unfortunately, I'll make a separate deal with him outside of this. Leave it with me, Rabbi.
Thank you very much. Goodness me. Okay. I'm just gonna.
It's just in case you get caught up on the way back from the Royal Albert Hall and you need to make some money. We've got to make sure that we got a fund for it.
Well, yes, slipping my fridge from the Albert Hall. It's very hard work.
Well, not if you put it on the donkey.
We'll have to do that. Okay, so to bear with me a second, let's get back into my Zoom. Passover, we do have that as well. Here we are. Now I should be able to do a screen share to the Gemara, which I can't do. Oh, come on, Frank. Let's do that. There we are. Let's try it now. Oh, I think we're in. Can everybody see this? No, they probably can't. Hold on. Zoom. There. Right. Okay. You should now be able to see the Gemara on the screen. And we are gonna have a look at our Braisa in a different way. And it's a lot easier actually than the ones you had thus far. So we'll have a little think again. Hello, welcome. And that's all right. No, you can if you want. It's fine. So we're gonna have a think through what we've done thus far, just the basics, the rudiments of the facts that we need to deal with, and we're going to look at this afresh in a new way. So you'll recall we have Rav Huna, who says that we have to that if there is a transaction about something or other, and then the thing in question goes missing, the person who had it last has to make a shavua, an oath, that they no longer have the thing, because we worry otherwise that they might have hidden it away, and they want to, come up with the story. It means they can hold on to it and then flog it off and make it with some money. That's Rav Huna's oath. Now, we have a Braisa, which is a sort of slightly later version of the Mishnah, slightly expanded, and this Braisa seems to contradict Rav Huna, and we dealt with this over the last few weeks in various ways. We had Rava, we had Rav Yosef, we had Rav Ashi, and they all came, and we had Abaye, and they all came up with their answers explaining why the Braisa wasn't a problem for Rav Huna. Now, we now have a different approach to Rav Huna from a different part of the Braisa. And that's also going to cause a problem for Rav Huna, which we're going to have to deal with. So same Rav Huna, same Braisa, but different part of the Braisa, different case, different problem, and obviously different solution. So we know what Rav Huna says. Again, the person who last had the thing that disappeared has to make a shavua, an oath, that they no longer have. Fine. So let's now have a look at our Gemara further. We'll see what we can find. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We got about 15 lines down. You've got, if you look in the Tosfos, you'll see Tosfos says in big letters, Lokeach Havi. You see Lokeach on the left-hand side of the page. It says Lokeach in big letters. And if going to the Gemara from there, and 2 lines up, you'll see at the end of a line, it says Rav Huna. That's where we're up to. So, as they say in bingo, eyes down, and let's see what we can make of this. Here we go. There. Right. So, and on the screen share, it's right at the top. Rav Huna bar Tachlifa mishmei de Rava Omar. Rav Huna, the son of Tachlifa, said in the name of Rava, Reisha de Seifa Tiyutul Rav Huna. The first part of the last part of the Braisa is a problem for Rav Huna. So that's all like unknowns. What's all that talking about? What's the first part? What's the last part? What's going on here? So the Gemara says, don't worry, I will tell you exactly what part of the Braisa I'm talking about. We're going to recap that, and we're going to discuss why that's a problem for Rav Huna. How so? Well, the Gemara tells us in its obliging fashion. Here is the case. Seller Hilvisani Olav, you lent me a cellar with this fridge as collateral. Shtaim Hayashava. The fridge was worth 2 seller. So this is the borrower speaking. We recall that the fridge was the lender lent the borrower a cellar, which is oh gosh, I've not a clue. I ought to know, but I don't. I don't actually know what's the cellar worth.
What's sale mean?
I don't know. It's
Okay.
it's a sizable sum. You know, let's call it £100.
Right.
All right. So, the case is like this: the borrower says, "You lent me a cellar. I gave you this fridge. The fridge has now gone missing. So obviously, you know, I want recompense for that. And the borrower, claim that fridge is actually worth more than the loan. It's worth 2 seller. I didn't want to sell my fridge. I don't want to bother. So I'll give you the fridge as collateral while you lend me a cellar. And now the fridge has gone missing. So I owe you a cellar. The fridge was worth 2 seller. So now the borrower says to the lender, you owe me a cellar. Because you ought to be giving me back my fridge worth 2 seller. And I should give you back my loan worth a cellar. Well, now the fridge has gone missing. So my cellar of loan is cancelled out by 1 cellar in that fridge. And the other cellar in that fridge, you owe me? Yes. No, the borrower says, well, this you're right. So there is no proof. You're right, that's the problem. But this is the borrower's claim. The borrower claims this fridge is worth 2 seller. Well, no, he trusts the guy. No, he's a diamond. He's a trusted guy. You know, in that famous dog and duck. You know, they're all good friends. And
but they only he only lent him 1 seller, right?
Yeah, but the fridge was worth 2. It's all hand to hand. You know,
what did they agree at the time then? What was agreed? Did he not say that it was? Did they not have a price again?
He didn't
That was
say
agreed.
anything.
Right.
No, nothing at all.
But in case it went missing, that's the value.
That's right. Or yeah, and also exactly. And well, you know, they didn't even talk about it. The jukebox, you know,
The music was too loud in the dog and duck. Because I knew you were going to. It's too loud. They didn't talk.
No, I don't have to believe it's worth 2 seller.
So do these 2 points here. They did not discuss it at all. All that happened was that the borrower said, can you do me a solid? Lend me a cellar. I'm hard up. And the lender says, all right, but I want some collateral. So the borrower says, I'll give you my fridge. Fine.
There's nothing commercial.
Nothing. There's nothing written. There's nothing.
No, that's fair enough. I think that deal makes sense. That happens.
Where's the proof?
There's no proof. There's no proof. It's
So you
mad.
can't go to a bank then.
They do because they're having an argument. They don't know what to do. That's it. That's all we know. It's so maddening. But that's what they do. Well, not that kind of swearing, but Shmuel's on the horizon. Yeah, watch out. So now then, let's see. We're gonna avoid your case. Remember your case where you said that if you admit to part of the loan, then or part of what is claimed, you have to make it full. We're not talking about that case. How about that? Now, bear with me. This is genius, all right? And we're going to come to a whole new vista of Shavuot here. So, again, the borrower says, you lent me a cellar, and this fridge was worth 2 seller. And the lender says, no. Rather, Ella, seller I lent you a cellar. That fridge wasn't worth 2 seller. It was worth 1 seller. So now, again, the fridge has disappeared. Terribly sorry. Don't know what happened. You know, it must have fallen through a crack in the floorboards. I don't know what happened. It's disappeared. And now, obviously, I can't expect you to pay me my cellar back because the fridge has disappeared. So we'll call it quits. And the borrower says, what do you mean? It was worth 2 seller. You lent me a cellar, so I'm not going to pay you back, but you owe me a cellar. So now the borrower is demanding a cellar from the lender, and the lender says, I owe you nothing because your fridge was only worth the value of the loan.
borrower is saying you owe me because it was worth.
It was more, it was two. Yeah.
I think we gave you because it was one, and you still owe me.
Well, he lent him a seller.
He lent you.
The lender lent the borrower a seller, and the borrower gave the lender a fridge.
You're charging him interest then. So,
No,
okay, so
no,
he's
you're
going
not
to say,
allowed to
well,
charge
in that case, you can have two back interest. That's it. I'm charging you an interest for that. That's your one seller interest. Okay,
no, we're not allowed to charge interest. Forbidden by the Torah.
is it?
I mean, if he does that, he's infringing a Torah law. I mean,
okay.
they may be a pair of crooks and drunkards, but they're not gonna charge interest. No, I mean, in normal commerce, we could talk about that, about additional admin charges for loss of collateral. We could talk about that, but in Torah law, we're not going to do that. Besides which, again, I'm talking about paper cutouts here. I'm not talking about real life. I'm talking about very simple. But it's not an unreasonable suggestion, but not here. Okay. So, again, the borrower is now demanding a sellout recompense for his fridge. He got one sellout in advance with the loan. But now he's lost his fridge with two sellers. He wants another seller from the lender to be square. And the lender says, no, the fridge is only worth a seller in the first place. I lent you a seller. You gave me a fridge worth a seller. Now the fridge has disappeared. We're quits. So Michael will concede here the borrower should not make a shavua because he's not denying anything. He's demanding something. Michael will also concede that the lender from whom a seller is now demanded should not make a shavua because he's denying it outright. The lender has become the defendant because the borrower is claiming that his fridge was worth more than the loan.
This deal first happened.
Yeah.
And right, I'll give you my fridge.
Yep.
And you give me a seller.
Right.
Right. And he's agreed that, well, that's what my fridge is worth.
No, they didn't say anything. They're a pair of idiots. They just did it. They didn't think about the value of the fridge.
But then after he's saying it's worth what it is.
Exactly. Now the dispute comes to light. Now they didn't even bother valuing it, but now they are because now it's become a matter of
The
dispute.
fact that I said, give me a seller, and against my giving you the fridge.
Yeah.
That's an agreement.
No.
But surely, Rabbi, the Beth Din can only look at it. The Beth Din going to look at it the same way. They can look at it and say, okay, when you took this, it was a seller. Okay, that's all we know. That's the information. At that point, the fridge was in your possession.
Right.
Whatever happened to the fridge, we don't know about because it stolen, it got broken, whatever happened, it was on fire. So we don't know anything other than the facts. The facts are, paid a seller, and there's the fridge.
Right.
We don't know they can't know anything else. So all they can rule clearly is it's like for like because we don't know any other facts.
Well, the borrower says that's outrageous. But
there's no fact on that. He can say what he wants, and the other guy and the seller can say you're outrageous. So that surely the debate then all they can do is work on the facts, and the facts are you borrowed this, you gave me the fridge. End of story. They don't have any other facts. They can't go by any other facts.
Okay, you're right, but we're going to want you to be wrong. All right.
Okay.
So the Braisa says like you. The Braisa says pottle. The Braisa says the lender doesn't have to do anything, and it's rather like Colin says because here the claimant is now the borrower because he says I want recompense for my fridge, and the lender says. Well, it was only worth the value of the loan. So we now quit because the lender says the fridge was worth the seller. I give you a seller. Our fridge disappeared. That's it. The borrower says, no, it was worth two sellers. You still owe me a seller. The Basin say, rather like Colin, well, prove it. All we know is the fridge has disappeared. The loan was what it was. The Basin can't demand that the lender.
Why does the Basin come in at all when there's no proof of that?
Exactly. Basin said we can't rule on this. All we know because
you can't go to a Basin without any witness.
Well, they don't know what to do, so they go to the Basin. The Basin say, that's right. The Basin say we cannot require the lender to pay out money unless there's proof that he owes money.
Yeah, the proof would be
Well, we don't know that Adam is being dishonest. So we can't levy shavuos willy nilly. So for example, if somebody comes to Beis Din and says I owe them £1 million, Beis Din are not going to require a shavuot of me just to be sure. No, the general principle is if you want to get money out of somebody, the burden of proof is on you. And here the burden of proof is on the borrower. He claims this fridge was worth 2 seller. The borrower denies outright that he owes anything at all. That's it.
Well, I'm just assuming this case now is involving Michael and myself, and we go to Beis Din and we say, call Rabbi Lister. He'll tell you what upright got through.
Absolutely, it makes a difference. I'm very happy to do that. I give.
Where's the proof?
To the council, absolutely.
It makes no difference.
That's right, because you may both be telling the truth as best you know it.
Yeah.
You may genuinely believe what you're saying. You may not be dishonest at all. You may be a bit slapdash, but not dishonest. But the bottom line is, basically cannot exact money from the lender in recompense for the fridge without proof that this fridge is the true seller. And we don't have that proof. So they say to the lender borrower, this case is closed, goodbye. That's it. Now, so this is, that's what the Braisa says. Otto. The one the other says, like he and the lender says, I lent you a seller, the fridge is worth a seller, we quit. Otto. This is the ruling of the Beis Din. The lender is exempt. He doesn't have to pay anything to the borrower because we have no proof that the fridge was worth more than a seller. It may be, but bring proof, then we'll talk. Bring a receipt, bring something, bring an expert valuation.
They go look in the shops how much these fridges are sold.
Well, that's all very well, but we don't know what condition this fridge is in. He might have a claim, but he's got to substantiate it. Lender might say, thieves came in the night. It must have been bandits. I've no idea.
The only person that knows that is the lender. He's the only person that knows the condition of the fridge the last time it was seen because he received it. So therefore, the proof of burden is not on him. It has to be on the fact that if you're saying it's worth that amount of money, the proof is on you. There is no proof. Otherwise, go down to Dog and Duck and see you later.
I'll say even more than you're saying. Maybe the lender himself doesn't know.
Right.
Maybe the lender's saying, for all I know, I don't know, but he said, prove to me it was worth 2 seller, that's fine, but for all I know, it's only worth a seller. That's all I'm going to say. So the lender might freely admit he's not quite sure. But, he's saying, if you want to get 2 sellers, we prove it. I know.
This isn't right, though, Rabbi.
So just saying, so the lender, Michael just asked, does he have a duty of care? And I'll say, in principle, yes. But he will say, I discharge my duty of care. You want to say I was negative, prove it. So, Carl, you're going to say.
So it makes complete common sense. This is absolutely, the Beis Din can't make a ruling on this. They can only go on the facts. There really cannot be any other extenuating circumstances. But I know there are. We've just got to find out what they are, Rabbi. We've just got to get to them.
Okay, so this is where we start to take off. When you're strapping on a fair gun ride and it starts to move. This is that moment. Okay, so now the Gemara is now going to take us to town. Here we go. So you see, it says at the end of the line here. Just a second. Let's do a bit of navigating. Again, let's go back to that. You see that Tosfos said Lokeach in big letters. So if you go in front of the Gemara and then go down 2 lines, it says Ve'im Isa at the end of a line.
Yeah.
Now I'm pointing to it with the Michael, you with us there? Great.
With the cursor.
So the Gemara says Ve'im. So this is the reason why Rav Huna Bar Techim Mishmei Rava says, using our Braisa as a stick with which to beat Rav Huna. Because remember, according to Rav Huna, in this case that we're talking about, obviously, the lender would have to make a shavua, an oath, that he no longer has the fridge. That's just standard practice. That goes, that sort of on the nod. That's just what we do. Because the fridge was last seen in his premises, now disappeared. So the lender obviously, says Rav Huna, has to make a shavua, he no longer has the fridge. Now, the borrower will see this as an opportunity because there's a legal device called Gilgal Shavua. This means if somebody's already making one shavua, one oath, we can require them to make a second one on the back of that one. And this is based on a passage in Parashas Nosai with the Sota. Excuse me, that's all. Hello, Kiva? Right? That's good. That's good. I'm in Shir right now. Can I call you back in about 20 minutes? Bye-bye, love. Not to wait, not to wait. See you, bye-bye. Okay. My Kiva is not being
How is he? He's not in trouble. He's not.
He,
Dad, can I have some money, please?
no, he had a dodgy shawarma last night, and I think it's
Oh,
just before.
say hi from me. Tell him we miss him.
Oh, bless him. Thank you. I asked him to call him back later. Now he's doing. So,
Let him know we miss him.
It's on the mend. Okay, so the Gemara is going to say this borrower, if he's canny, can exact a shavua from the lender about the value of the fridge, like you wanted to say, through Gilgal Shavua. Because again, according to Rav Huna, we just all admitted, and this is not a secret, according to Rav Huna, the lender obviously does have to make a shavua that he's not got the fridge. So the Gemara says, well, let's swoop in on that. And if he's already making a shavua that he's not got the fridge, let him also make a shavua about the value of the fridge. That's the whole magic of Gilgal Shavua. When he's doing one, we can bundle in another one. I'm not going to make up a shavua just for fun. If he's already doing one, if he's already putting his honor on the line, let's do another one. The Torah makes provision for that, based on a pasuk in the parasha Sota.
Why can't it just be another straightforward? He's got to make another shavua. Why is it? What can it not just be? He's going to make another shavua. It's got to be a Gilgal as
Well, because we can't just make it shavua just like that. We need to have some justification for adding in another one.
Right.
Rabbi, when we've got one, that is justification for another one.
Rabbi,
yes.
What's the reference in Parshat Nasa? What is that referring to?
Okay, so in Nasa, it's the story of the woman who is found to have been sequestered away with a man other than her husband, after her husband has asked her not to, and so she's had yichud with that's seclusion with this other man, and the man, the husband feels aggrieved at this, and he takes her to the temple, and she has what's known as a trial by ordeal. Except rather than having to sort of go through something that's almost going to kill her, which is like what some people have required a trial by ordeal, it's something which in principle is harmless, where she has to drink water in which there is some earth from the ground of the temple, and also the ink from this passage of the Torah written out and then erased in that water. She drinks that water, and if she was not unfaithful to her husband, then she will find herself better able to have children in future. She'll be blessed by God. If she did have relations with another man, then her stomach will explode and she will die, and so will the stomach of the man with whom she had relations. That's the story of Sota.
Oh, vey. That sounds a bit desperate.
We take these things very seriously. Now,
okay.
You'd rather be stoned.
I'd rather not do wrong in the first place than far better. Okay, so if you've done nothing wrong, you've got nothing to fear. It's fine. She'll be better off.
It's a bit like the witches, Rabbi, in the old days.
Yeah, so the witch is the other way around. Where they would say, if you float, you're a witch, and if you don't float, well, then you're dead anyway. Yeah. So that was a lot harsher. Or they would make the whole burning thing and say, if your skin doesn't burn, you're innocent.
I want to read about that. Can you let me know exactly where that is in Nassau? I would like to, not now. Okay. I'd like to read about that.
I can post it.
Okay, thanks.
There it says the woman basically is making an oath that she wasn't with another man, and the kohen, the priest who's officiating at this ceremony, reads the text of the oath, and she says Amen, Amen. She says Amen twice, and the reason I says Amen twice is because when she's making one shavua about this man, the husband can also require another oath from her about another man. So if he thinks she's been unfaithful in the past, he can require oaths on multiple suspected affairs. And this is where we get the principle of Gilgal Shavua from. That while she's already making sure about one dodgy man, she can make sure about another one. Yeah.
She made the Shavua.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Oh, and then they had a kiss. That's right. And the water got past the glass. Yeah. That's an amazing story. But not for now. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm trying to remember the details. You tell me. Yeah, okay. Thank you for that. Yeah, and Michael just reminded me of a midrash about a twin who's unfaithful, and she sent her innocent sister to go through this ordeal. And she was obviously fine because she'd done nothing wrong. And afterwards they messed and they kissed, and the water on the lips of the innocent twin was passed to the lips of the guilty, and she died on the spot. So watch out. Yeah, the Almighty has his ways. Thank you for that. Okay, so this is where we learn Gilgal Shavua from. And our Gemara says, well, if already the lender has to make Rav Huna's oath that he doesn't have the fridge, let him make a second oath as to the value of the fridge. That's legit. Is allowed. But our Braisa doesn't say that.
It's only his view.
Well, according to Rav Huna, why don't we expect a second oath from the lender as to the value of the fridge? And yet
Why not?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because Rav Huna's wrong. That's what the Gemara says. With a triumphant gleam in its eye, the fact that we don't require this shavua of the lender, which we're itching to have, as you said, we're itching to have the lender make an oath as to the value of the fridge, but we can't because he's denied it all. And you can only have him make an oath in principle, like Michael said, when he admits to some of it. But he's saying the loan is a seller, the fridge is a seller, I'm quits. But now, according to Rav Huna, he's already making an oath that he doesn't have the fridge at all. So let him make a second oath on the back of that as to the value of the fridge. That it was only worth the seller.
Why not? What's wrong with that?
Because so the Braisa says there's nothing wrong with that in principle. So the Gemara says rather there's nothing wrong with that in principle. It said the Braisa doesn't say it. The Braisa says he's not got to make an oath. So therefore, the Gemara reason. No. The Gemara says no. The Gemara is saying the fact that there's no Gilgal Shavua in the Braisa means that Rav Huna's oath's not there in the first place. There's obviously nothing there off which to make a Gilgal Shavua. There's nothing.
So why is he saying?
So this proves Rav Huna's wrong.
Well, why is he saying in the first place?
Rav Huna,
Yeah.
that's what the Gemara is asking. Exactly. How can Rav Huna say that his Shavua exists? The fact that the Braisa does not take advantage of his Shavua to do Gilgal Shavua shows that his Shavua does not exist in the first place. You've got no seed capital of Shavua there. There's nothing. So Rav Huna's wrong. This, says Rav Huna, Bar Tachriva Mishmei de Rava, is a problem from our Braisa onto Rav Huna. So there you go. Now, what are we going to do with that? So this question stood for quite a while. And let's just speak it through. The V'im Isa, we've got that V'im Isa bit again, which is which is the V'im Isa is just below Lokeh Chavi in Tosos. So we get two lines down again from there, and it says like this: V'im Isa lid Rav Huna. If we hold of Rav Huna in the Braisa, since the lender has to make an oath anyway, according to Rav Huna, that the fridge is not in his possession, let's have the lender make another oath as to the value of the fridge through the device of Gilgal Shavua on the back of Rav Huna's Shavua. But that'd be the obvious thing to do. We all want him to do that. We're cheering on from the stands. But no, the Braisa says portal. The Braisa says that the lender doesn't have to make an oath at all. Why does the Braisa not make use of Rav Huna's Shavua to make a second Shavua on the back of it? Because Rav Huna's Shavua ain't there. Rav Huna is wrong. There you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, says the Gemara. Rav Huna's wrong. Otherwise, the Braisa would obviously take advantage of Rav Huna's Shavua that the lender's making anyway to exact a second Shavua to the value of the fridge.
But surely, if I'm I'm lending you the money, you're bringing me this fridge, okay,
Yeah.
and there's a trust between us.
No,
So
okay.
I trust you. I trust you. So therefore, But if I trust you, then we do have a joint trust. I've trusted you. I've given me the money, trusted. So we have a joint trust. You can't just wipe that out, the trust, surely, between two people.
Why, Colin? Why is there assumed trust?
Because I've accepted the fridge as collateral for the money I've given you. Okay, yeah. So I trust that that's the value to what you're giving me. I trust you. You're a nice boy, Alan. Why would you want to rip me off? You come to me for a loan. I've given you a loan. Why would you want to rip me off?
I remember a couple of weeks ago you came out with the famous phrase about trust.
Absolutely. But
what did you say?
I said, if you want loyalty, buy a dog.
Yeah.
For everything else, get a contract.
Right? There you go. So there's the point.
But we're not in business now. It's taken me weeks to learn to step back from that. And now you're bringing it back at me.
But there's no trust implied. It's a contract, and people break contracts.
Well, as it happens, the Gemara is going to answer like Colin.
That's a surprising one.
Colin's going to answer. Colin, you basically got the Gemara's answer, but let's see what Rav Ashi says. All right. So thus far, we're saying the fact that there's no Gilgul Shavua, the fact it's not a second Shavua about the value based on Rav Huna's Shavua of possession of the fridge shows that Rav Huna's Shavua is not there at all. Therefore, Rav Huna is wrong. And the Gemara is going to come out via Rav Ashi and Rav Kahana, and are going to say it's actually an issue of trust here. Would you believe it? If you want loyalty, go to Rav Kahana. Right?
Here we are. You see?
Here.
Wow.
Rav Ashi. So Rav Ashi says, "What's this?"
See how Gemara's changed my view, Alan. I trust people now more.
a little bit. Okay, so
no, not in business. Not in business.
Rav Ashi says, "Amrisa nishmata kamed Rav Kahana." I said this Gemara over in front of Rav Kahana because it's a real poser. How are we going to get Rav Huna out of this? Va'amali, Rav Kahana said to me, says Rav Ashi, Tehei b'ma'amino. We're talking where, yes, you're right, said the Gemara, says Rav Kahana. The borrower could have required Rav Huna's Shavua from the lender as to possession of the fridge. And then we'd have swooped in and said, aha, once you're making one oath about possession of the fridge, make a second oath about the value of the fridge. We could have done that. But would you believe it? Rav Kahana says the borrower trusts the lender. He trusts him. When the lender said the fridge is gone, the borrower says, well, it's gone. It's gone. I don't need Rav Huna's Shavua. So Rav Huna's Shavua is a real thing. But in this case, the presumption is the borrower does not require it because he trusts the borrower. So the Gemara's going to ask you a question in just a minute.
We know it's never going to be a Shoin Ganik. We know it's never going to be. That's it. Let's move on.
Well, hold on. Now, so then the Gemara says, I don't understand. So the Gemara says, in all the other cases where there's a presumption that the borrower doesn't trust the lender's value, and in fact here he says, it was worth two seller. Why doesn't the borrower believe the lender as to the value? Why are they arguing altogether? If the borrower trusts the lender, let him also trust the lender when he says it's worth a seller, not two sellers. How can you say that the borrower trusts the lender?
That's when they knew each other before this deal ever went, or they strangers and they came to this country.
You will see in just a second. You'll see in just a second. There's a presumption of trust that goes of a certain way. You'll see. I could even say they're strangers. All right. You'll see. How does it work? So why are they arguing altogether then about what it's worth? Why doesn't the borrower believe the lender when the lender says it's only worth the seller? So the Gemara says no. Like the borrower doesn't think the lender knows what the fridge is worth because he's just taken it into his home. He's not familiar with the fridge like the borrower. The borrower's had this fridge standing in his kitchen for 20 years or more. He knows his fridge very well. He knows all its quirks, all its scratches, how to service it. it's history. That time it got dropped, when we usher it out to the guys for Pesach and bring it back again, it gets a few scratches and bumps each time. The borrower knows that. The lender just sees a fridge. So the borrower doesn't trust the lender when he says what it's worth. But he does trust the lender when he says that it's not there. So he says, the lender's not a liar. Well, if he says it's gone, I believe him it's gone. But he just doesn't know what it's worth. Because he just had this thing in his house a few days. Of course he doesn't know what it's worth. I know. It's been my fridge for years. He wouldn't know. So it doesn't make sense. Then the Gemara continues. In that case, let the lender trust the borrower who's familiar with the fridge that it's worth two seller. If you've already got the borrower trusting the lender about it not being there, let the lender trust the borrower as to the value of the fridge, because the borrower's had this fridge for 20 years. So
Rabbi,
yeah.
can I how come now, when we've gone so far down this path, when it's all been about contracts and shavuos and oaths, that all of a sudden now trust is now rearing its head?
You'll see. You'll see.
Okay.
You'll see. Trust me.
You're happier.
Yeah,
I trust you, Alan. You see, you've given me the fridge, and I trust you.
Okay.
So the Gemara says, the lender does not trust the borrower as to the value of the fridge. So the borrower trusts the lender about the fish not being there, but the lender doesn't trust the borrower about the value of the fish. Why not? The Gemara says, what's the difference between the borrower who trusts the lender? Why doesn't the lender trust the borrower? So the Gemara says, I'll tell you. The lover invokes regarding the borrower a particular. The borrower invokes regarding the lender a particular verse. Tumas Yeshorim Tanchim. The innocence of the upright will lead them in a good way. Malva Mekayim Be Believer. The lender